Every business has its own unique story. Stories brewed in early mornings and late nights, built by the hands of business owners chasing a dream. Here on Business Over a Brew, we bring those stories to you. I'm Nick Dark, and in each episode, we sit down with a local business person to explore what drives them, what challenges them, and what keeps them pouring their passion into our community. Because every local business contributes more than just products or services. They're the heartbeat of our neighborhoods. They're run by people who care deeply about their community, and their stories remind us why supporting local matters. So pour yourself a drink, take a seat, and let's learn from some of the best in our backyard, right here on Business Over a Brew, presented by the Riverbend Growth Association. And welcome to another episode of Business Over a Brew. I'm your host, Nick Darr. Pleased to be joined in this episode by a longtime friend of mine, Doug Booten from 643 Sports Training. Doug, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So we've I guess probably, I don't know if we met, but you're actually my brother's age. So you graduated from Woodrow High School with my brother Sam back in 1987, right?
That's correct, 1987.
So and it's an interesting business owner story because you're kind of a retired business owner, I guess, in a way. So just talk about your career, because you worked for the water company for a number of years, and how the whole thing got going.
Well, obviously I'm retired from the village of East Alton. I worked almost 34 years, retired as the water and wastewater superintendent. And prior to ending my career there, a childhood friend of mine who was also in the class of 87, Brad Barnard, talked me into doing this business adventure. And so that's how that became. I wanted to do it a couple times before that. Once the former Alton Legion general manager, Dennis Sharp, talked me out of it because he had a facility himself.
Right.
And then another time I just couldn't get past, 6-8 months out of the year. It's nice here. You can be outside and play baseball and softball and other sports. So anyway, Brad talked me into it, and so far it's been going well.
And a lot of it, I'm sure, came from, because when we were coaching, we were using the facility in Alton that was Dennis's, and it's an interesting, weather-wise, interesting area that we live in for baseball, because there's several months of the year you can't even think about going outside to play. So, and it's a big advantage for kids that grow up playing baseball in the South and where it's warm, because they get to play 12 months out of the year.
Yeah, exactly. You see a lot of your big leaguers now come from the southern states or the West Coast, and not that you get Mike Trout that obviously come from Jersey, but it's a big advantage to be outside and playing year round.
Yeah, I mean, the number of major leaguers or major college players that are from Florida, Texas, California, it's a high percentage versus, Illinois or Wisconsin. I mean, there's some, obviously.
Sure,
but,
yeah.
I think the whole thing probably for you started with just, you are such a lover of baseball as much as anybody I've met. Where did that love of the game come from? So
it come from my dad. He was the general manager for East Alton, post 794 Legion team back in the early 80s, back when there were 16, 20 teams in American Legion District 22 in Illinois. And then that program kind of went to the wayside. I won't get into that, but he just transitioned to Alton just being a fan. And, when my kids were young, I'd take them out there in the summer and we'd watch American Legion baseball. But, his love for the game was just, it was something that he instilled in me, and I tell stories about him and Coach Norris Dorsey hopping trains in East Alton, riding him to St. Louis to go to tryouts for the Browns and the Cardinals back when they were, teenagers.
Right, yeah. So how has that, what are some things that when you started the facility, you're like, okay, here's some things we have to have and some things that I don't want to have?
So obviously we needed batting cages, because that's the big thing. Everybody wants to hit. But
Sure.
We needed a large enough area that you could practice infield skills. Mm-hmm. With the facility we have now, the ceiling kind of limits us in outfield drills, but we can duplicate that. But you can get, we needed to get teams in there, so we needed a large turfed area.
Right.
And then I leaned on Tyler Elbrock from Elite Hockey.
Sure.
Because he had started the hockey school and he has the indoor training facility there. I kind of leaned on him for some ideas, and he come up with the idea of memberships. And so we offer a 6-month membership and a 1-year membership.
And what does that get you when you're a member in terms of access and to the facilities?
So we actually have an app, or you can go to the website, either one, where when you're a member, you have the ability to see our schedule and to book a cage to go in and hit. Now, it doesn't give you access to the field. That's only for the teams. Mm-hmm. But there's no limits. It's very reasonable. It's $225 for 6 months and $375 for a year. And, we have people that come in 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week.
Talk about the technology that you guys are using, especially on the hitting side of things. I know there's been a lot of, it's a lot different than when you and I were growing up playing baseball.
Yeah, it's and I've learned as we went along. I've learned a lot of things, but most people don't take advantage of the technology that we have. We have a simulator called Hit Tracks, mm-hmm. and it's for either baseball or softball. It's similar to a golf simulator. So, you can literally play a game of baseball or a game of softball on it, but what it really should be used for is to measure the player. And so if you come into our facility, rent the Hit Tracks out, get some measurements, distance, launch angle, exit velo is a big one.
Right.
There's a few other things, hard hit average, and then, we have trainers as well that they don't really work for us. They rent the space, but if you hook up with one of our trainers, then, get 4 or 5 lessons, and then they can put you back on the Hit Tracks and kind of see the progression of it.
What metrics, what numbers are, and you're kind of an old school guy, but you've also blended in some of the new stuff, the numbers. What metrics are you looking at, when you're looking at a player or somebody that's using the facility and say, okay, here's what's really important? So
I think to me, everybody gets caught up in the exit velo. Mm-hmm. And they want to swing out of their shoes. And, it's a good measurement, but really the hard hit average is the number you want.
Sure.
I've seen people come in there and really progress. And I've seen high-level players come in there and want to increase their exit velo because they want to get to the next level. It doesn't necessarily transition to the game on the field.
Right.
Because there's so many variables. We're in a controlled environment on the Hit Tracks. And, as a pitcher, you're trying to get the guy out.
Right.
We have a pitching machine set up. You throw right down the middle, the kid hits it, and he just tries to hit it harder and harder and harder. I think you can't focus on that. You have to focus on your mechanics, and then all that will come.
Right. And two of the things that kind of go together, I think, are, exit velocity, and then probably maybe the most controversial, I guess, term in hitting mechanics today is launch angle. First of all, for those that don't know, what is launch angle and how does it?
So launch angle is basically the angle the ball comes off the bat.
Right.
To me, the ultimate launch angle is about 12 mm-hmm. degrees. Now, Kyle Schwarber might argue different.
Right.
But to me, that's a nice line drive off the bat.
Right. Because I think the game has gotten so infatuated with home runs, and hitting the ball hard in the air is an extremely valuable skill, of course. But it also, I think, sometimes leads to, if you're not making contact, 80% of the time, who cares what your launch angle is, right?
Well, I think that and this is just my opinion, I think the agents have convinced the players that's the way to go. And I think we witnessed that with Matt Carpenter. Mm-hmm. Matt Carpenter was hitting the ball everywhere.
Right.
Wasn't necessarily
kind of a spray line drive hitter.
Wasn't hitting a lot of home runs, but something changed, and he started to increase his launch angle. And as we know, his career went downward. At least the statistics did. So.
Well, he did have a couple of years where he did hit a lot of home runs.
He did, yeah.
But the average went down, and it's interesting. Those two skills are. If you could figure out a way to make them compatible or find that happy medium maybe between let's hit the ball hard in the air, but let's make contact more times than not.
Yeah.
Or go the other way some too.
It's amazing to me the way the game has changed. Mm-hmm. Guys like Pete Rose and Mr. Padre, I think they would just they would dominate today, because I really do, because I don't think anybody would know how to pitch them. And you've got these guys today that and of course the technology. There's so much video, so like the metrics you talked about. They have, they know every player.
It's funny too how it trickles down to the lower levels, and sometimes it shouldn't. I think because how many home runs do you see at the 13-year-old level or 14? Even through high school. There's not a lot of home runs hit. So instead of trying to hit home run, you shouldn't really be trying it. I mean, you should be, I think, looking, if you just want to be a successful baseball player. And we know, not a lot of guys are going to make it to the next level, even playing college or beyond that is such a small percentage. So if you just wanted to be a successful baseball player, you should be thinking about, I think, driving the ball the other way and not trying to launch everything. It's a trickle down from the major leagues where, they're so good at defending and knowing where to be from a positional standpoint. And, the left fielders are, they were by far the best player on their team growing up. So, there's great athletes everywhere at that level. But now, at the lower levels, like a line drive to right field for a right-hand hitter is still a base hit a high percentage of the time, where it's not in the major leagues. Plus, it's impossible to steal bases in the major leagues practically. So where it's not at the lower levels, it should be a little bit different game, I think.
You're exactly right. And, to me, to teach launch angle, you would have to have that special person. And that person would have to be, a large individual.
Right, yeah.
That could muscle the ball, 335 plus feet, routinely.
Sure.
Maybe not every game, but other than that, yeah, hit the ball on a line somewhere,
right,
and go with the pitch. And even one of the lost arts today is, and there's not a statistic for this. Well, there probably is, but it's not a common statistic. Is runner on third base, less than 2 outs, and slapping the ball to the right side.
Sure.
You've got to run out of it, and you don't see that at the upper levels.
I've even heard Aaron Judge, who's the most prolific, maybe second most prolific power hitter in the game, talk about he's trying to hit a line drive over the second baseman's head. And if it happens to go out, great, but that's what he's shooting for every time, is just hitting a line. And you try to tell kids that, and they're like, no, I gotta launch.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I've worked with a handful of kids and have convinced them, or at least their parents, that
right, yeah.
You're not at 11, you're not going to hit the ball over 250.
You're going to pop out and strike out more times than
right.
not. So
yeah.
you're not going to be on base very often if you're all you're thinking about is launch angle. Well, let's get back to talking about the business, and we can talk baseball all day. Talk about the how where it is from now versus from when you started, and what are some things you've learned along the way?
Wow. So I don't know if it's changed a whole lot. We opened November 2020, and 25 days later, the governor shut the state down.
Sure, that made
but
it
we don't. So we're kind of a unique business. We don't have any employees, so our overhead is minimal.
Right.
We didn't expose anybody, so we let you'd be surprised at the people that still came in there and practiced. Mm-hmm. And then it happened again the next year. Words got around. We've got a lot of teams that come in there. We've got the Illinois Esprit softball organization. Their whole organization is in there. But I think, I don't know how much it's changed. We've got some more equipment. We've got a couple softball pitching machines, 3 baseball pitching machines. We just try to keep the place, the maintenance up, because
right.
When you have kids in there for 6 months, the backdrops in the cages take a beating.
Sure, yeah.
The pitching machines take a beating. There's a lot to it, but I don't know if it's changed a whole lot. The idea we had was to set up a system to where you or anybody could purchase a membership or book a slot for their team and come in there. And then, we look at the schedule later on and send these teams a bill, and that's kind of it. And that's all Brad Barnard. That's not me. That part of it was all his. Mm-hmm. The rest of it, as far as the inside the facility, the different equipment, things we need, that kind of came from me.
Well, last question about 643. Probably pretty obvious, but where'd the name come from?
Yeah, double play. 643.
Sure, right. Yeah.
You aren't the first guy to ask that. I know you
I
knew.
knew it.
You knew that.
That's
yeah.
for the audience.
Yeah, and yeah.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about a newer business endeavor that you've embarked upon here in the last, I guess, couple of years as well. So back with more with Doug Booten after this on Business Over Brew.
Nick Dar here with Big Z Media. Hope you enjoy the episodes of Business Over Brew, and pleased to have the Riverbend Growth Association as the sponsor of this program. Our missions are kind of the same, really. We're attempting to educate people about business, foster business in the Riverbend community. The Big Z has been a member of the Growth Association forever, probably back to our inception as a company almost. We have always been members of the Growth Association, have gotten a lot of benefits from it. There's so many networking opportunities you can take advantage of. I've met so many great people just because I've been a member of the Growth Association and taken advantage of all the events that they have, plus just some of the resources they provide you, the relationships you build. Just lots of great reasons to join the Growth Association. They do a lot of great things in the community as well. They highlight a different nonprofit every month. So really, they're just invested in the community here, and especially the small business community, which is what Business Over Brew is really all about, which is helping the small business community, because it's so important to any community to have a thriving business community. And the Growth Association has really helped with that. If you want more information about joining or events that might be coming up, they have events all the time that you should definitely take advantage of. I'm going to give you the website to go to. Just head to growthassociation.com. You can get a membership directory. You can see who's taking advantage of it. You can see about the events that are there, learn more about possibly becoming a member. Or if you already are a member, you can find out what's going on with the Growth Association at growthassociation.com. So just again, big thank you to the Riverbend Growth Association for sponsoring Business Over Brew.
Yes, thanks to our sponsor, the Riverbend Growth Association, for their support of the program. We appreciate it. So we talked a lot about 643, but you've got a new business. I don't know if it's new, but kind of a hobby / business that you've started as well.
Yeah, it's a hobby, and I don't know if it's necessarily turned into a business. It's more of a hobby, but I always wanted a drone. Mm-hmm. And never really had the time with obviously working and
Right.
American Legion Baseball and 643 sports training. So after I retired from the village of East Alton, I purchased a drone. And I thought, this is neat. So then I'm like, well, what can I do with this? And so I did some shots for some realtors, just aerial photos, fly-throughs.
Sure.
I've did a lot of drone videos and
For local media companies.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, provided some stuff on the sinkhole at Gordon Moore, and
Right.
just different things around the area. This area is kind of unique, and I'm just trying to capture it on photo and video, and did some construction observation stuff for a couple contractors, like overhead photos for roof stuff like that, so they could take some measurements off of. But
A lot of people don't understand. I think don't have a great understanding of what there's quite a bit involved to getting a drone, right? It's not like you just go buy one at the store.
So you can go buy one at the store and fly it recreationally.
Okay.
But to fly it and provide you with something, whether it's for monetary value or not,
Right.
you have to be a FAA certified pilot, Class 107, which is an aircraft. So the test wasn't easy, and I hadn't been in school in a long time. But yeah, and there was a lot of things I didn't know, and they all are common sense, but you don't really think about it.
Right. So it was an online course, or you
No,
go somewhere to do it?
so I took a course through the Pilot Institute in Arizona, actually online.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to a testing center and took the test.
Okay. So, what are some things to think about in terms of just if somebody out there is thinking about buying one? Like, what was in the buying decision for you?
I obviously did some research on it, and just kind of, you can buy a $30 drone and it'll crash the first or second time you use it.
Right. Sure.
But the automation of these things is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. You pick up GPS off satellites. I've flown some around the area. I take off from my truck. When I want it to come back, I hit return to home, and it comes right back to the same location. And, you can fly missions where, like the sinkhole in Alton, I've got a mission created where I fly in orbit around it, the same every time. You can do mapping.
So and that's all from your house, or do you go?
No.
Okay, you're
so
going somewhere close and.
Yeah, you have to be able to see the drone.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can't. You have to be inside.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. Right. One of the things I know you're proud of, and I thought was really cool, You got inducted into the East Alton Woodard High School Hall of Fame recently. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I was kind of overwhelmed. Felt like I wasn't deserving of it. I could think of a lot more people that, like yourself. I mean, you own the Big Z. I mean, you ought to be there before me. But anyway, it was.
I mean, the things you've done, I think you don't. I mean, just a quick note on that. I mean, I think it's hard to overestimate the impact you have when you're coaching kids at a young level, and then coaching the Legion team. I mean, and coaches that you've had that you still think about that Norris Dorsey and for me Mark Hines and a lot of others, Bob Buttry that coached me growing up, and I still think about the impact that I still every day, even to this age at 49 now, I still think about the impact that they had. And I think that's you've coached a lot of kids over the years, and that's certainly part of it.
I have, and I hope that that obviously that's why I was inducted. I've hoped I've gave a positive influence on the kids that I've coached, and obviously some not so much, but
can't win them all.
No, but you just try to do things right. American Legion baseball, in my opinion, does. I mean, anybody can start a travel team, and it's a heck of a lot easier to play travel baseball. You get a group of kids, and we did it when our kids were young, and you just play wherever you want, and there's an avenue to get insurance and blah blah blah. But with American Legion baseball, it's more than that. It's you go to these different communities. It's about the community. It's about patriotism, self-sacrifice. There's a lot of things that go into it, and we kind of teach that along with the game of baseball. I mean, you still want to win, for sure.
And you've kind of, I know you wouldn't say single-handedly, but you've kind of resurrected American Legion baseball. I mean, it was really, and it is still a hard path, I know, but you've really brought it back to life.
Well, I don't look at it like that. I learned lessons from Dennis Sharp, and Dennis, I haven't varied much from the model that he had. You have to work with these kids in the off season. You have to hone their skills if you want to be competitive. And there's a half a dozen programs in the state of Illinois and Missouri. Well, there's more in Missouri, but that are really competitive. And that's what you want to be. He said at one time, when he first started, he'd show up and they're like, everybody going, oh, Alton's here, But now they're like, uh-oh, Alton's here. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. Yeah. And I have, or not I have, there's a group of people that helped me. We've had a lot of success here recently. But I do think that the competition isn't as good. And I hate to say that, I really do. I mean, there's great people that play, great baseball players that play American Legion baseball. But I think a lot of them shift towards travel baseball. One, because it's easier.
Sure.
There's a lot that goes involved with just fielding an American Legion baseball team. It's a lot of paperwork that you don't have to do with travel ball. So.
Yeah, and not to be cynical too, but there's a lot of money involved in the travel baseball, the select baseball side of things for organizations to, attract kids and, you're right, big checks to play it. So,
it really is. And I'm not knocking it. There's people around the area that have killed American Legion baseball. I'm not going to name any names, but you can't knock the success that they've had.
Right.
At the travel ball level and even at the high school level. I mean, it's really impressive to see what some people have done. But there are people that take advantage of,
Sure. There are. I don't know that it's so much in our area as much, but I just know like nationwide and in some other regions because, our kids definitely benefited from playing select travel, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, just the instruction was so, was advanced, was better. I mean, they got better because of it.
They did.
Doubt about it. I mean,
and one of the things that I remember as a kid is you'll never forget that moment, whatever it was. You always have a moment on a baseball field, a basketball court, a football field, whatever.
Right.
There's always a special moment, and you'll carry that with you forever. And, I think, didn't you guys go to the
Corey Lee World Series?
There it is. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, the good times I had with my son when I coached, and of course you were part of that. But and the same thing with American Legion baseball, winning that state title, coming out of the losers bracket, and it was just, it's unbelievable,
For people that haven't been around or played sports, it's hard to explain it. Really, I mean, it's like I don't know that you don't get moments like that too many other places if it's just, your work or whatever. I mean, those moments, you're right. You don't forget them. I mean, I haven't forgotten them for sure.
No, and the people that you're surrounded with, you're friends forever.
Yeah.
You hold a special bond, and not that doesn't happen in travel ball, but like I remember my son playing American Legion baseball for Dennis, and being at the state tournament in 2016, and we saw this team all summer long. I don't think we beat them. We did the next year, but it was Moline, and we run into them at tournament. We ended up seeing them in the state tournament, and they won. We got second, but they created a bond with these kids from Moline, Illinois, and
right.
Hopefully they still talk today.
Yeah,
it's just neat.
I mean, it's sports, but I think it's success too. Like when you have success with a group of other people, it usually creates a bond. And the hard part is that in business sometimes it's hard to see what there's not a scoreboard every day.
No.
Like there's not a win and a loss. There's not a state championship. I
Right.
mean, you can feel that, hey, we're doing well or whatever, but there isn't typically like a finish line to the season of, hey, it's over, we won.
Yeah, you just keep going.
You just keep going.
Keep going.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, well, Doug, thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate all you've done for the community. If somebody wants to get more information about 643, how do they do that?
Easiest way would be to message us on Facebook. Send us a message through there. That's probably the easiest way. Or they could email me, Doug at 643dp.com. Do want to say one thing?
Yeah, please.
Alton Post 126 is hosting the Junior Legion All-Star Game at Gordon Moore Park on August the 3rd. It's a Monday evening, and the best players in Illinois will be playing the best players in Missouri. Border War game, and it's been done at the senior level for some time. This is the first year we're doing it at the junior level.
Very cool. Awesome. So, anything else we need to touch on before we wrap it up?
Nope.
All right.
No, thank you.
Doug, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching this episode of Business Over Brew. If you'd like to support local business, first and foremost, shop local whenever you can. Secondly, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the show in whatever form you consume it would mean the world to us. To watch more episodes, visit businessoverbrewpodcast.com.